The life and sad ending of Gladys Knight. Gladys Knight was born Gladys Maria Knight on May 28, 1944, in Atlanta, the daughter of Merald Woodrow Knight Sr., a postal worker, and Sarah Elizabeth. Throughout the late 40s and early 50s, she would sing in the church choir. She first achieved minor fame by winning Ted Mack's The Original Amateur Hour TV show contest at the age of 8 in 1952. Everyone's life has a godly arrangement. If you don't believe, it will be very vague. Going through the ups and downs of human life is a wealth of joys and sorrows interwoven with difficulties and challenges. But they have to jump over those obstacles to turn into a better person than they were yesterday. Knight has been married 4 times and has 3 children. At 16 years old she became pregnant and married Atlanta musician and classmate James "Jimmy" Newman in 1960. She had a miscarriage. The couple went on to have 2 children. Newman became a drug addict and abandoned the family when Knight was 20. They remained married for over 12 years until 1973. Their son, James "Jimmy" Gaston Newman III, was born on August 13, 1962. She retired from the road to raise their child while the Pips toured on their own. In November 1963, Knight had her only daughter, Kenya Maria Newman. Later she returned to recording with the Pips in order to support her family. In the early 1960s, Gladys, James, and the Pips moved to Detroit. Knight and her family lived on Sherborne Road in Sherwood Forest, an upscale neighborhood on Detroit's west side. She also resided on LaSalle Avenue for a time. Her children attended Jesuit Catholic grade school. After being separated 7 years, Knight divorced Newman in 1973, and he died a few years later. In 1974, Knight married Barry Hankerson in Detroit. The couple had 1 son, Shenga Ali Hankerson, born on August 1, 1976. Around 1977, they relocated to Atlanta. The Pips remained in Detroit. Their marriage ended in 1979 with a prolonged custody battle over their son. Knight spent over $1 million looking for her son after he was kidnapped. In 1995, Knight married motivational speaker Les Brown, but they separated and divorced in 1997. Knight suffered through a gambling addiction that lasted more than a decade. In the late 1980s, after losing $60,000 in one night at the baccarat table, she joined Gamblers Anonymous, which helped her quit the habit. Previously a Baptist, in 1997 she was baptized into the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints following her son and daughter joining the LDS Church. She had occasionally teased LDS President Gordon B. Hinckley, saying his flock needed to inject some pep into their music. He agreed, which resulted in the Grammy Award-winning Saints Unified Voices Gospel Music Choir being formed. Knight later led the B1 Choir at B1 40th anniversary celebration of the Revelation on the Priesthood. Knight's son Jimmy Newman managed her career through his Newman Management Inc. until his death from heart failure on July 10, 1999, at age 36. Newman was survived by his wife, Micheline, daughters Nastasia and Gabrielle, and sons Rashawn, Stephan, and Sterling. Knight married William McDowell in 2001. They have 17 grandchildren and 10 great-grandchildren between them. Knight and McDowell reside in North Carolina, where they own a community center that was formerly a school attended by McDowell. What has been through is the challenge, along with the determination to overcome all sadness. Choose art as your life's soulmate. Gladys Knight and the Pips joined the Motown Records roster in 1966 and, although initially regarded as a second-string act by the label, scored several major hit singles, including I Heard It Through the Grapevine, Take Me in Your Arms and Love Me, The Nitty Gritty, Friendship Train, If I Were Your Woman, I Don't Want to Do Wrong, the Grammy Award-winning Neither One of Us, and Daddy Could Swear. In their early Motown career, Gladys Knight and the Pips toured as the opening act for Diana Ross and the Supremes. Gladys Knight stated in her memoirs that Ross kicked her off the tour because the audience's reception to Knight's soulful performance overshadowed her. Berry Gordy later told Knight that she was giving his act a hard time. Knight and the Pips continued to have hits until the late 1970s, when they were forced to record separately due to legal issues, resulting in Knight's first solo LP recordings, Miss Gladys Knight on Buddha and Gladys Knight on Columbia Records. Signing with Columbia Records in 1980 and restored to its familiar quartet form. 2 albums, About Love, which included the hit Landlord and Touch. The act left Motown for a better deal with Buddha Records in 1973, and achieved even greater mainstream success that year with hits such as the Grammy-winning Midnight Train to Georgia won on the pop and R&B chart, I've Got to Use My Imagination, The Way We Were, Try to Remember and Best Thing That Ever Happened to Me. In the summer of 1974, Knight and the Pips recorded the soundtrack to the successful film Claudine with producer Curtis Mayfield, which included the songs On and On, The Makings of You and Make Yours a Happy Home. The act was particularly successful in Europe, and especially the United Kingdom. However, a number of the Buddha singles became hits in the UK long after their success in the US. For example, Midnight Train to Georgia hit the UK pop charts top 5 in the summer of 1976, a full 3 years after its success in the US. During this period of greater recognition for her, Knight debuted acting in the film Pipe Dreams, a romantic drama set in Alaska. The film failed at the box office, but Knight did receive a Golden Globe Best New Actress nomination. In 1976, Knight made her acting debut as the lead in the film Pipe Dreams, for which she was nominated for a Golden Globe Award for New Star of the Year, Actress. In 1983, Gladys Knight and the Pips scored again with the hit Save the Overtime. The song, under the artistic direction of Leon Silvers III, was done in a soulful boogie style. The single was released from their LP Visions and reached number 66 on the Hot 100, but was more successful on the R&B, where it hit number 1 for a single week in mid-1983. The single was the first time the group hit number 1 on the R&B chart since 1974. The video accompanying the song became among the earliest R&B videos to incorporate elements of hip-hop culture. The album also included the R&B hit You're Number 1. During this period, Knight kicked a gambling addiction to the game baccarat. In 1975, Knight starred in a variety show, The Gladys Knight and the Pips Show, which was cancelled after 4 episodes. She also guest-starred on several TV series throughout the 1980s and 1990s, appearing on Benson, The Jeffersons, A Different World, Living Single, The Jamie Foxx Show, and New York Undercover. In 1985, she co-starred on the CBS sitcom Charlie & Co., alongside comedian Flip Wilson, which lasted for 1 season. In 1987, Knight decided to pursue a solo career and she and the Pips recorded their final LP together, All Our Love, for MCA Records. Its infectious lead single, Love Overboard, was a number 1 R&B hit and won another Grammy for the act as well. After a successful 1988 tour, the Pips retired and Knight began her solo career. Gladys Knight and the Pips were inducted into the Georgia Music Hall of Fame in 1989, into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1996, and the Vocal Group Hall of Fame in 2001. In 1985, That's What Friends Are For, a triple number 1 mega hit, won a Grammy for Best Pop Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocal. On March 27, 1988, Knight performed a rendition of America the Beautiful at WrestleMania 4 in Atlantic City, New Jersey. In 1989 she recorded License to Kill, the title track for James Bond film of the same name, a top 10 hit in the UK and Germany. Knight released her third and most successful solo LP, Good Woman, on MCA in 1991, which hit number 1 on the R&B album chart, featured the number 2 R&B hit Men, and reached number 45 on the main Billboard album chart, her all-time highest showing. The album also featured Superwoman, written by Babyface and featuring Dionne Warwick and Patti LaBelle. The track was nominated for a Grammy. Knight and LaBelle collaborated the same year on I Don't Do Duets, for LaBelle's album Burnin'. Also in 1991, Knight performed the national anthem at Game 1 of the World Series. Her fourth solo LP, Just For You, went gold and was nominated for the 1995 Grammy Award for Best R&B Album. In 2003, she had a small role in the movie Hollywood Homicide, which starred Harrison Ford and Josh Hartnett. In 2009, Knight was featured in Tyler Perry's I Can Do Bad All By Myself, the film version of a play he had dramatized, and performed her song The Need to Be from the 1974 album I Feel a Song. In April 2004, Knight performed during the VH1's benefit concert Divas Live 2004 alongside Ashanti, Cyndi Lauper, Jessica Simpson, Joss Stone, and Patti LaBelle, in support of the Save the Music Foundation. In 2005, a duet between Knight and the late Ray Charles of You Were There was released on Charles Duet's album Genius and Friends. In April 2005, she portrayed a singer in an episode of JAG. In April 2009, she made a special guest appearance, and performed a song, on Tyler Perry's House of Pain. Knight has also made a number of cameo appearances, including on Las Vegas and 30 Rock. In 2012, she began a recurring role in the syndicated sitcom The First Family. In the spring of 2008, Knight appeared alongside Chaka Khan, Patti LaBelle, and Diana Ross at the Divas with Heart concert in aid of cardiac research, at New York's Radio City Hall. Also in 2008, Gladys, Jack Black, Robert Downey Jr., and Ben Stiller performed on American Idol to raise money for charity. In March 2010, Randy Jackson mentioned on a new episode of the same show that he is back in the studio with Gladys Knight working on a new album. In December 2010, Knight released the single Settle. In September 2011, a new, updated recording of Tom Jones' 1970 classic I Was released on iTunes and Amazon. In 2013, Knight recorded the Lenny Kravitz written and produced the song You and I Ain't Nothin' No More for the soundtrack from Lee Daniels' motion picture The Butler. The song was added to the movie's soundtrack of older songs with various artists so the producers could nominate it for Best Song from a Motion Picture category at the Academy Awards. Where My Heart Belongs marked her 30th Top 40 R&B album, including work by Gladys Knight and the Pips. In a 2014 interview, she expressed a hope that women would stand up and stop selling sex in the music entertainment industry. She commented that the growing trend saddened her heart and that she had been taught to dress respectfully for her audiences. Not take it off, put it on. Knight is ranked number 18 on the VH1 network's list of the 100 greatest women of rock. She faced criticism for agreeing to perform due to the alleged blacklisting of Colin Kaepernick by the National Football League after he began protesting police brutality during pre-game anthem ceremonies. Similar criticism was expressed against the halftime show performers, Maroon 5, Travis Scott, and Big Boy. Knight defended her decision to sing, claiming to understand Kaepernick's reasons for protesting but criticizing him for kneeling during the national anthem. In February 2019, she was revealed to be the Bee on The Masked Singer, in which she placed third. She performed Chandelier, Locked Out of Heaven, Wrecking Ball, What's Love Got to Do with It, A Natural Woman, and I Can't Make You Love Me. That's what really happened to Gladys Knight. She is currently 76 years old and what she did, always in the hearts of fans. Thanks for what she has brought. Wish our girl finds more joy in her life.